am Katherine, and I'm 10 years old.
Katherine has a really nice personality. She's real fun to work with. She's very enthusiastic about getting into doing whatever you're going to do. She doesn't balk at anything. She has a wonderful imagination which just keeps taking you on and on.
She's a leader within the classroom. The children really look up to her, not only in my class, but in other classes of the younger children.
We talk back and forth to her. She talks with the other kids. We communicate just like we would to you or anybody else.
Katherine is herself. Katherine is independent. She has a lot of guts.
Are you ready to go? I want you to go get all your stuff and go line up. Get your backpack. Get your
Goodbye!
backpack. Jump in.
See you in the pool! When I was little, and I got very sick, and I was in the hospital, and I kept crying and crying because I want my mom and dad. And I did not like to go to the hospital.
She was very afraid of the whole thing, I guess. She didn't know what was going on. And she had an IV in one arm all over the place, and she had the meningitis affected her elbow. She got septic elbow, so this was in a cast for the whole month, so she couldn't even suck her thumb.
And we came home from the hospital. I could not hear anything, and I didn't know why.
We had heard about the implant and had put it off for a couple of years after her deafness, because after such a devastating illness, we just didn't want to put her through that.
But, you know, we felt that Katherine's hearing was so bad and she was falling behind so badly as far as her language and skills and stuff in school that we felt that it was worth the chance because she wouldn't be losing anything.
When I go to the hospital, they cut over him. It didn't even hurt.
Katherine, can you hear ah, e, o?
I can remember my class before Katherine came into it, and we were having a real hard time with imaginative play, and I was having to be the instigator of this, and the teacher had to go out to recess and be in the plays with them. And then Katherine came in, and she's like, who wants to play with the teacher? She goes off with the kids, and she starts them into she usually is like Cinderella.
If you have a dress, Dad, we will let you go to the ball. Okay, that's be okay, that's a dress.
One of the really vivid memories that I have of Katherine followed an Eskimo feast that we had after we'd studied the Eskimos. At the end of the feast, it was time for everyone to share stories, and the story that Katherine elected to share was one where she used a xylophone.
The man was walking, and he looked above the sky. That he saw a goose flying.
And she continued that the goose was flying, and then she went bang on the xylophone. She said, the goose has been shot. And then she made little downward tones on the xylophone saying, the goose is falling to the ground. And then plop, it landed on the ground, and the Eskimo took it home. And this was the story that she had shared about how she caught the goose that we were eating at this feast. It was one of those things that really synthesized, for me, her integration of the cognition, all of the concepts that we tried to talk about with the Eskimos, and the fact that she chose a musical instrument as sort of an accompaniment to the story. It was very touching. It was one of those memories that all of the teachers who were there just sort of stopped and said, oh my goodness, this is really gorgeous.
Katherine was the first cochlear implant child at Oralingua, and she forgets how much work she had to go through to the point when she was confident enough to say, I can hear.
Saturn.
I conduct my class in an auditory environment. I don't wait for the children to look. I talk to them as closely parallel to the way that a teacher of hearing children would talk to her class. I do some open set listening activities with the children related sometimes to the social studies lesson.
Do you think you'll go somewhere? Where?
Big Bear.
Oh, do you like Big Bear? What do you do at Big Bear?
What I'm going to do? Just go shopping.
Katherine is working on grade level. We just finished testing for the end of the school year, and in reading she scored a 4th grade 2nd month level, spelling 3.9, and math 4.5. So just finishing 3rd grade, those are real good scores. Why does he put it in the water? Because he has a small throat.
So they'll make it easier to eat.
She has only been in the mainstream placement for 4 months. If you went to Katherine's class, you could not pick her out if you didn't know who she was beforehand. She does not stand out. She blends in very nicely.
12 and 13.
You look at any other 10-year-old, and Katherine's doing all the same things. She plays neighborhood games. She sells lemonade from a stand. Those kinds of things that the kids like to do, and the neighbors, of course, receive her as an equal.
I'll give you $1 a day.
$1 a day?
Sucks. No, I'll give you only $1 a day. And you are out. And you.
She'll go to McDonald's and order her lunch. This is completely on her own. I have walked behind her to make sure that the people understand her and know what she wants and don't cheat her and all this. But she's on top of everything. She even asks me, "What are you doing standing there?" I was behind her at McDonald's once when she went to ask for some ketchup. "Why are you here?"
Hello. Can I help you?
I'm playing chicken.
Junior chicken? What would you like to drink?
Beer.
Katherine gets on her bicycle and she bicycles over to her friend Christina's house, and then they go up into the trail and they walk around. It's a horse trail. They hike around, they come down and play in Christina's bedroom and make a big mess playing Barbies or dressing up, and they talk back and forth to each other like regular kids do.
We are baking a vanilla cake. I, Christina Abbey.
Tell the people who are in it.
What? Tell you.
And you.
Okay.
In my opinion, the implant has really made a dramatic improvement in Katherine's life. Its use for her has been remarkable. She has confidence in herself, in her ability to hear, and her ability to learn. She's a very outgoing child. She's such a sunny person to work with. She can come to school on the gloomiest day and everything gets bright.
I'm so happy with where Katherine is, I can't tell you.